Hello, guys. How is everybody doing? Welcome to the quick experience right here on the Get Quick International YouTube page. If it's your very first time, don't forget to click the subscription button and click the bell to get a notification whenever we post something new. Not forgetting we're with Miss Sheila and Martha ready to take you away as we talk all about baking and all those nice essentials and health living today on the show. Welcome.
Oh, thank you. It's always a pleasure to have you here hosting us. As you know, my name is Sheila and I'm always at the Get Quick store ready for you to take you window shopping, to help you in your shopping as you're purchasing items, and also to just give you extra knowledge about the things that you are yet to pick. Welcome again to our season 2 of What's in the Kitchen with our pastry guest, and without further ado, we shall have her tell us who she is. Again, for those who missed season 1, we have it on our archives. But over to you, Martha. Tell us a little bit about you.
Hi guys, it's me again. My name is Martha, co-owner and pastry chef at Tasty Tales Uganda. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me. I hope you've all been well. I look forward to discussing the new yummy things I see with everyone.
Last season, or in season 1, we talked about how to make your wonderful, high-quality bakes with our products at the Get Quick store. We dove into talking about kitchen equipment, and specifically equipment that can help you mix your dough, mix your cakes and pastries. And today, on again into the pastries, we'll be taking you through things that you can mix in your pastries at home, and more specifically pastries that do not need heat, that do not need much, work. Anyone can make these pastries. We have nuts, we have pistachios, we have so many things in store, and these are sourced directly from our suppliers in Dubai. We recently entered Singapore. We have been in Turkey for some time and South Africa. However, before we dive into that hookup, I just want you to take a deep breath as you're looking at some of the products we'll be talking about, the tips we'll be giving you about the use of these products. I believe that some of you mainly know them to be snacks, knick-knack here and there, but did you know they can actually be put into your pastries? I won't spoil it for the chef, but I'll just pick item by item and then we can dive into that, right? Aren't you hungry already?
Already. I was asking if you have them for snacks.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You can have them as snacks. These are canned pistachios, and these are packaged pistachios in a sealed paper. Very well packaged, long shelf life. And I felt it important for our customers to know, why are these good pastries important at home? Of course, they are nutritious. I'll dive into giving you the nutritional benefit. But how do you put them? We're talking about easy bakes at home, If you don't have a heavy oven, you don't have, a lot of equipment. And even when you're doing your big fruit and nut kind of cakes, how do they come in, especially the pistachios?
Fun fact, pistachios actually my favorite nut.
Oh, really?
They are diverse. You can eat them with anything. It can be tea. You can use them to garnish a salad or put them in a loaf, a cake loaf. They are delicious and I find them exotic. That's why I love them.
So how do you put them in a cake loaf?
Usually what you do is, what I do, because I like speaking for myself, is I soak them overnight. I peel them out of the shell and soak them overnight so that they get that softish texture instead of being so hard, and they take longer to bake if you put them in the way they are.
Okay.
So I usually soak them overnight.
Plain water?
Just plain water.
No salt,
You don't have, especially if it's going into something sweet. You don't want, because there are people whose palates don't really do the sweet and sour or the savory kind of mixture very well. So you have to keep it neutral, especially if you're rolling it out for just gen population.
Okay.
You have to keep it neutral, and that's why I soak in water, just plain water. Then from there, I'll put them in our magical blender.
Our cups here.
Yes. And then we will put them into tiny pieces, crush them into, basically grind them into tiny pieces, and then fold them into our already made mixture for the dough, and what, the cake mixture basically. So you just
So when you soak them overnight, yeah, why would you want this cover? For example, if you see on the cover, you can see that, you know, each nut has a shell.
yeah.
Don't they become soggy like spoiled popcorn?
Well, what you want, you know, when you bake them, you want them to be as soft and as tender as the cake itself.
But they don't lose their flavor.
They don't lose their flavor. Yeah, they remain heavy on their flavor. And the reason why I think, or why I prefer, when I would prefer to have them with a shell, is when you're serving them out to people. When you're having guests or like at a party,
Small finger food.
or even like at your bar counter, and we want people to have something to munch on while they drink, maybe catch up on cabozi or something, it limits the access of many people's hands onto the real nut on the inside that people consume, right? So the shell for me is protective gear, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
But for me, the beauty about nuts, yeah, before we dive into the other types of nuts, especially pistachios, you know, they're very high on protein.
Yes.
And nuts actually have natural oil.
Yes.
And so I know that many people hesitate to have a lot of the gluten and the ingredients that come with the flour, and feel like if you make a whole loaf of bread that has so many flavors, it's unhealthy. So people tilt mainly to the fruit cakes and the nut cakes. So the protein that comes from these nuts still keeps the nutrients that are needed in the body.
Yeah.
So that myth around, you know, cakes and the different ingredients, I think that is that why people order a lot for the fruit cakes?
Yeah, this cake is cake.
Okay.
At the end of the day, that's what I wanted to say. Cake is cake, but the difference with usually it's the preference of the client, and also like we keep emphasizing its quality over quantity. You want when someone tastes something, even if it's new to them, they enjoy it. They actually maybe carry it on as something new they've learned from somewhere, and they'll say, oh, by the way, I didn't know this tasted this good, so they carry it on. The nutritional value is about the pistachios, like any other nuts. They're legumes, first of all.
Absolutely.
They have a high amount of protein in them, which is healthy protein.
Very
It's easy for the body to digest. It's not adulterated by so many processes that come with packaging things and whatnot. It's just a nut with its natural nutrient.
And we know that proteins help us a lot in the body. One of the things I've been learning personally is to take care of myself from the inside outside. And proteins, in as much as you see your skin glowing, you see your hair growing, the liver inside is working hard to create certain body nutrients. And that's why they encourage us to have a balanced diet. So you have your vitamins, your proteins. And for those people who are probably looking to keep healthy and want to get away from the protein that comes with the meat, this gives you a similar substitute for that, because then now you have something that is keeping your body energetic. And something interesting that you talked about the diversity of nuts, and people know that maybe you can have them, you know, as roasted nuts, or you can have them in the cake. But they are very, very simple things like breakfast, where you can put it in your granola and have it with yogurt, where you can also put it as a granola bar. Tell us a little bit about granola bars so that people can understand what we're talking about.
Granola bars are basically a combination of different fruits and different cereals, basically, right? That are put together to make for energy, basically. The replacement for our sugars that we get from sodas, from energy drinks and whatnot, we can get from granola bars. So basically what that is a combination of different nuts and fruits that are caramelized by either maple syrup or honey, and then you solidify them and then it becomes a bar.
Okay.
Right.
And in at the Get Quick store, we have the date syrup.
Yes.
Because maybe maple syrup has that extra tingy, you know, it seems unnatural. Or if you do the sugar syrups where you melt sugar and you have, you know, the syrup. Also, sometimes people find it a little extra sweet. Or if someone tries honey and it's, you know, it has that extra aftertaste. Yes, which sometimes doesn't settle well on the tongue. we do have the date syrup.
The date syrup, which is also extra healthy because it's derived directly from the date. And a date is an excellent source of energy. Not just energy, but that pure natural sugar that is good for your body. But if you can find something, because getting off sugar is quite difficult, especially for someone like me who is an incredible sweet tooth. I would, as a kid, I would lick sugar off my hands. I would go steal icing sugar. They would cut cake and I'd eat the icing sugar instead of the real cake. But as I've grown, I've learned how to and your body responds to you. What you teach your body to take in is what it consumes happily
And manifest.
Yeah, and the more you practice, because people will have that prejudice on the date syrup, or how do we know it's good or whatever, but
What does it taste?
there's no where it's coming from. So that ideally should speak volumes of what you're getting into your body. Yeah.
Within your day-to-day activities, as you think about your self-care is now an in thing.
Yes.
Being out of
It should have been
character, yes. Being out of character, out of health, out of hygiene, it's just a little bit, it's off these days. So you have to take care of yourself, and we're looking for healthy ways to live and to coexist with them and still have a good time. So we have quite a number of nuts. We have salted cashew nuts. We have salted and sweetened pistachios. We also have the regular nuts, which obviously for the setup purposes, we wanted to just give you a sneak peek. And without digressing much, when we talked about the granola bars, I said also granola as a cereal in the morning is healthy for you. And in that there are oats.
Yes.
At the Get Quick store, we have oats that come with a mixture of strawberries, apples, bananas, obviously dried fruit. And this also helps you if you want to have a little bit of fanciness, or you want to feel like this is not moving. You put a little bit of garnish. Please garnish it with the small, cashews and mix it within your morning breakfast. Or you have a date. You've hosted someone at home and they have to leave when they have a statement made by the host. These are some of the things that you can put in your day-to-day life. If you're not a baker, or you sit there and wonder, okay, past the shelf of cereals, what do I do with all these things? People usually know the cornflakes or Weetabix, but there's a lot you can put at your table that can create for you that, that self-care that gives you an extra happiness on your day. So you could get, grated or grind pistachios, which obviously you've given me a tip. I didn't know that you can soak them overnight. And then I believe also you can put them back on a tray, put them in the oven for a short time to get back there.
The crunchiness.
And then obviously either you use a mortar to grate them, or you use a grater for those finer, small pieces. Get your yogurt, put it in a bowl, put your granola, and garnish it with a little bit. Different chocolates. We have them in store. We have the mix, those mixed with a little bit of alcohol. If it's a fun morning, you have an adult gathering. Yes, and then we have those that have extra nuts. And mixed with cereal too. But I just want to know, as a chef, what inspires you? To say that, okay, for my customer, I'll put this. For my customer, I'll put this. Does it come with experience with the customer, or does it come with taste of the general public?
I personally think, for me, what has worked with my clients is my ability to connect on a personal level with my clients. When you come to Tasty Tales and make an order for cake, we custom make it to your needs. Because food is something that you have to handle carefully, and you have to put into consideration people's food allergies, things their bodies don't react very well to. So how I handle my nuts, my pistachios, the almond. The people who I've had a client who asked me to make cake out of almond flour.
How did you do that?
Basically, take it and grind it into a flour kind of form, and use it in replacement of wheat flour.
Okay, and is it more healthy?
It's healthier, yeah. It tastes different, obviously, but it's healthier, it's easier to make, it gets ready quicker. I'm also constantly learning from my clients because there's a lot of information out there.
Okay.
That's the most important thing. But for me, how I relate with nuts and my clients is what the client wants, the client gets. And because of my relationship with Get Quick, I always get quality.
Okay. And I know that now we're getting into a lot closer to the festive season.
Yeah.
And I know you've experienced some of our different baking, what do I call them? Amenities or additives, where you have, the sprays that can put a sprinkle and put an extra, when you're creating a shape on a cake, or you're putting that extra finishing on the fondant. And then we also have the cake glue, where if you have different layers of the cake and it's supposed to be moved, or you're making a Christmas loaf, a house loaf,
Gingerbread,
bread house that can stick, edible glue that can stick your cakes and pastries together. And then you have something so divine and exquisite presented to the client at their doorstep. And what makes it a lot more important is knowing that the items you're buying are of good quality. Yes. And we guarantee the fact that when something that you have picked from the Get Quick store does not necessarily either meet your standards in terms of you've tested it and it's a little bit old, or maybe you feel like it wasn't the quality you have requested for, we receive feedback, we take samples and get back to you about those items. But if you ever come to the Get Quick store, it would be nice to sit down and just understand and read the kind of items that we pick out for you. We're health cautious.
Yes.
And we look out for the nutritional factors that come with the different products and ingredients. And most importantly, don't be left out. Don't be left out. Don't look onto TV and say, oh, Chef Siba, I'm a fan of Chef Siba, or the Pioneer Woman, or these different women on
Nigella.
Yes. Have all these things. Where do they find them? What is all that? We have you sorted. We are your hookup people at the Get Quick store. Make your experiences really perfect with a Get Quick experience. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So our episode today was really short for you to understand the importance of looking out for high quality things in the market. And without looking further, we are always excited to have you here at the Get Quick store. Happy with us, smiles to welcome you. But for now, since we are missing our resident sweet tooth, and we are having some chocolates today without you, we have all sorts of sweet tooth things to cater for you at the Get Quick store. Come visit us and enjoy.
I can't believe I just missed this interview. You guys have enjoyed all the seats, but from us, until next time, bye. At Get Quick, we shop and ship from Dubai. Offer tours and travel services plus real estate. Visit our offices down at Concierge Street, plot 3436, Kamocha, Kampala.